get the ball out of defence, and they haven't been able to get it on the scoreboard.
So that's the siren for the second quarter. Let's go boundary side if we've got a chance with Ray Baird.
Yeah, number 49 for the Basin. That's Jaden Brown, who was number 14, but he's 49 now, boys. Look, Scotty Homewood said that the quarter wasn't as good, but they certainly didn't hurt him on the scoreboard as much as they could have. He was very critical of his forwards. He said the back six were under pressure, but his forwards weren't presenting enough. So we'll take it from there, boys.
And the Park Orchards got the centre clearance, and they kicked around the corner, and it was a one-on-one contest at the goal square, at the top of the goal square. It was Hanley who took a chest mark close to the ground. He protected the drop of the ball, and he swallowed it up. So from 15 metres out, it's going to be another goal for Park Orchards. We're going to extend on their 22-point lead at quarter time. So within the first minute, it's Hanley from point blank range, and he converts for goal number 4 for Park Orchards. It's 4-4-28, and the Basin are yet to score, so that is a big start to Hanley and the Park Orchards Footy Club.
And again, it was exactly what we've talked about. They put the ball in the one area. They liked the top of the square, about 10 metres out from the top of the square. They just consistently put the ball in that area. And the Basin have just got to put more pressure on the ball carrier and try and block that area as much as they can.
So worst possible start for the Basin as they concede an early goal. Can they respond quickly as we're back in the middle? Is the ball up? Tap doesn't really go anywhere. It's more rather inconclusive, and it looks like a free kick will go the way of Park Orchards, and they'll have an opportunity to once again bring the ball forward. It's free in the ball at the moment. Decides once again to launch that long kick that we've seen so much in this first quarter. The mark not taken. And the ball bobbling around, and it looks like we'll have possibly a baller. Calls for holding the ball, but it's the Basin who are in there fighting hard. They've been good on the clinches, but they just haven't been able to get the ball free and get it forward enough, and it is a free kick to the Basin out of the contest.
The dumping free kick goes to Churkop. So Churkop goes sideways, gaining no ground and really no momentum at all. Another short kick just goes over the top of the head, so there was minimal advantage of the kick, and eventually it dribbles out of bounds anyway.
And again, they need to get some run from behind. They just can't go with this chip all the time. They've got to get some run from defence.
So Finlay doing the ruck against Chappell. It's at half forward for Park Orchards on the outer side of Domini Reserve, and an accidental kick out of bounds on the full, as we're going to see it over, means the Basin get the rewarding free kick. So at half back, a bit of luck that might turn into a forward go at it. That's a bump, a bit early, but it finished up being a mark to the Basin, so luck's of fortune there. The umpire saw nothing egregious to that, and the kick inside 50 was chopped off anyway, and Park Orchards again hold up in their defensive 50, and that's probably at least now half a dozen marks inside their own area. But the kick was nearly chopped off, but the Park Orchards are able to kick out, but under hurried and implied pressure, the kick went out in the full, so the Basin get another load-up opportunity at half forward in the hands of Cullinan, who gets himself inside the field, tries to put a dinky pass over the top, but hands there by Windish brings it to the ground, but Basin are good enough to get it inside 50, and an over-the-shoulder free kick just on the contest 40 metres out, and it's Basin going to have their first real big opportunity to put a score on the board, as just waiting on that if it's Cripps or not. He's really gingerly getting up. Yeah, it is Cripps who gets up with Lachlan Cripps, gets up with the free kick 40 metres out. He went for the ball. The tackle zipped over his shoulder and took him down. And from 40 metres out, Cripps laconically puts it over the goal umpire's hat, and that is the Basin on the board for their first one straight 6 points. It's a 22-point game as Park Orchards are 4-4-28, 4 minutes gone. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I mean, I understood what young Kruger was trying to do with the football then, but it was a poor handball to a player that was under pressure. And then once he's under pressure, he's been tackled really hard and got the free kick, which, whether it was there, I don't know, but the fact was he's managed to take full advantage of it and kick a goal, and they're on the scoreboard.
Got to be honest, I thought it was holding the arm just looking at the replay, but the umpires paid it, and the Basin have their first goal, which is much needed as they try and get themselves back into this game. And let's go boundary side with Ray Beard.
Dave, look, I take on board what you said, mate. Young Kruger, then, with the position their team's in at the moment, and you're running towards goal, I think that you're better off putting the ball to your foot yourself.
Yeah, exactly, Ray. And look, I can understand what he was trying to do, but yeah, sometimes you've got to take it upon yourself.
So back in the middle, the Basin with a little bit of confidence after that goal, and the umpire to throw it up. Let's see if they can get a second goal. A back-to-back goal would be the way to go, but it looks like a push, and it's a free kick to the Basin, so they will have that opportunity. And the ball is knocked forward by Aaron Finley, trying to find a target. Falls for Kruger. Lockie Kruger gets the pass away. It's Cameron Cripps now as he goes into the pocket, and there's too many Park Orchards players here, and they'll cut it off, but the tackle comes in. It's a good one, and the ball is knocked out of bounds, so they will have an opportunity if they can win this clearance to get that second goal. In fact, it looks like a behind has gone through for a behind.
So the coach of Bayliss will kick it out for Park Orchards. He goes long to Debney, who took the mark at centre-half back, and he thought he might be able to get off from the man of the mark, but he couldn't, so he's going to have to go back. But he plays on real quick. His kick wasn't a very well-directed one, and it's been chopped off by Thompson, who held up nicely in defence. He goes out wide, nearly too wide, but it's marked by Cripps. Cameron Cripps on the outer side, just inside the line. So he goes inboard, spearing pass, finds Finlay, hands it off to a runner. Now the Basin have got a chance. They load up from 70, get it to the goal square, but the defence doing nicely. Good courage by Roland. He didn't know what was behind him, took the mark, stretched in the back pocket, and no one hit him, but he didn't know that, and that's a great defensive effort. So his kick goes to Debney. He'll mark this for sure. Late spoil was a bit heavy, so the ball comes to the ground where the Basin are there to pick it up, dump it to where they have the numbers, and a mark's being taken in the forward line, and here comes the Basin finally getting some inside 50s, and they might get their second on the board within 3 minutes.
Couldn't really miss here. They had a 4-on-1, so if they hadn't been able to win the ball in that situation, something would have been wrong.
It's Big Shorts Batty. He's as tall as he is wide.
They are big shorts. I mean, I can't stop now looking at them because they're Adam Slater shorts, those ones.
So Batty from 45, he's put it through from a 45-degree angle, and that's the second on the board. And would you believe the Basin are back in this game big time? 2-1-13, trailing the Sharks 4-4-28.
Yeah, look, good mark and a great conversion. And I actually thought that Park Orchards did the right thing. The captain coach kicked the ball out over the zone. I thought that was a dubious one whether the Debney got the interference with the marking contest or not, but it wasn't paid. They brought the ball back in, and with the zone not breaking up, they were able to get that mark and kick the goal. So they're taking their opportunities. They've probably only been in the forward 50 maybe 3 times this quarter, and they've managed to score 2 goals from it.
So Park Orchards have a little bit of a wake-up call conceding 2 quick goals, which has just put the Basin back in this game. They're playing with a lot more purpose, some good short kicks, and they're possessing the ball much better in this term. And we'll see how they can go in the ruck as the umpire decides to throw it up. Up they go, and there's a bit of a push in there, but the Basin win the ball out of the middle. A hopeful throw pass forward, and it looks like the Basin might get a free kick, and they do, a push in the back. So another opportunity for the Basin to launch. That's number 49, the gentleman that we were looking for before. Let's go boundary side with Ray Beard.
49 is Jaden Brown, boys.
Jaden Brown, you did tell us that, Ray. I was just looking for my sheet, but I couldn't find it.
And the thing there was that when they got the ball in the middle, they went for a run, a player coming up from the back line, took the hands off, and then spread the football, and it spread them out, and then put the ball nicely into the right area, so that now we have Cripps. I think he's having a shot for goal. So
it is Cameron Cripps. He's been good so far. As he comes in, he'll kick this from just inside 50, probably from about 45 by the time he strikes it. And that's another goal for the Basin. They really are on fire. That's their 3rd goal in this term, and they are very much back in this game. As Cameron Cripps puts it, showing on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it's the Sharks 4-4-28, leading the Basin 3-1-19.
And I think that's been like 3 goals in probably 5 minutes. So it's all happening from the middle. This is the key part of the moment. Their ruckman's on top. It's all from the middle situation.
Quick one from the boundary, then the stats.
You're right, David. Look, they're getting the centre clearances this quarter, which they weren't getting in the first quarter.
Thanks, Ray. Grant Campbell with the match day stats.
Inside 56-1 in favour of the Basin this quarter.
Thank you to Choose Tap for sponsoring those statistics. And it's a free kick going this time to Park Orchards, who have had probably about 4 in a row went the way of the Basin. but it just shows the Basin are getting in amongst it around the stoppages. But the kick goes long from Wiggins. Inside 50, big effort, big fly. Folks drops to the ground and not with ball in hand. So the Basin trying to share their way out of defence. Running into a brick wall was Pittman, and he's held up at centre half back. So folks got up high. All that effort, just only got one hand to it. So at ground level, we're at centre forward for Park Orchards, who have conceded the last three, and they've dropped the ball in the tackle or thrown it under the pressure of the tackle. So it's a turnover of Thompson. He's quick to play on, but he's too well read, and it's a turnover mark. It's half forward, and it's going to be Nicholson who's going to take the kick from inside the centre circle, kicks it long. Hanley pushes out his opponent, gets it to ground level where he has some rovers there, but not being able to get a kick at it was Prozinak. And it's a ball in, left forward pocket for Park Orchards, who need a steadier really. Funny enough, they've had such a dominant first quarter, but now they only lead by 9 points as the Basin have got inside, got the game, winning it in the inside battle, as kicking it around the corner. Thompson again's kick's been chopped off, and it's another mark for Park Orchards to have a shot at goal just outside the 45-metre arc. All passes are being looked at.
Chris DeJager, I think it is, Gav.
So DeJager from a 45-degree angle on the left outer wing flank. He'll go from just outside the 45. It's a long kick. Doesn't have the accuracy. The umpire pumps his chest and signals are behind as it just missed to the right side or the left when you're coming from DeJager's angle. Yep. The scoreboard is 4-5-29 to the Basin 3-1-19.
Young Chappell, the ruckman's come off the ground. He's been belted around a fair bit by the big fella Finlay for the Basin. So be interesting to see what they do now in the ruck.
Yeah, he's a big boy, Finlay, hasn't he? Chappell's been really good. He played particularly well last week too, as the ball comes out into the clear, and it's the Basin who get it out, but there's not a lot of room to move. But call for a throw there, and I think the umpire might have paid it too, as the kick goes downfield from Jonathan Pittman. So we'll come back for a throw.
Yeah, Seagrave gave it up.
And here they come again, Park Orchards. Can they get the go? That looks across the face of the goal, and the mark I think has been taken right in the pocket, deep on the goal line there, right up almost against the post. Just watching the replay. And from a very acute angle, this is going to be Handley. He's a very good kicker. Handley had a great game last week, but this is going to test every part of his skill level to get this one through.
You'd be surprised that pocket opens up a little bit there. He actually has a little bit to aim at here.
So he's hard up against the fence, and see what he does. Here he comes, Handley. He's going to go the banana, and it looks to be across the face, although let's have a look at the umpire.
It's a guessing game, I reckon.
It's a goal. Could have sworn that went out to the left, to be honest, but that's a terrific kick from Handley. He'd be very pleased. The left foot banana, should I say, or the right foot banana.
Just the ball was out of the frame then. It was dubious whether it was over the goalpost or not. Very close thing, but the goal umpire has to be commended.
Well, I think, as I said, down that end, the goal, there's one goalpost that opens up to a bit of a strange one, just bending open a little bit. So
really?
It does give them a little bit of a chance in that area. But I'll be interested to see what happens in the ruck here, because, as I say, I think Finlay's been on top because he's just been too big and strong. But I think they might have thrown Minogue into the ruck now.
So Hanley gets his second for the term, and that's a steadier. The margin now back to 16 as Park Orchards gets it out of the centre square. Now roving, they'll have a shot at goal from Nicholson around the corner, and he put it high, and he put it along, and from 40 metres out, that's a beautiful, could be goal of the day for the Vibro Health Club. It's a magnificent kick by Nicholson, who rove the ball, long kick in, ground level. He didn't muck around, put it on the boot and put it through the middle.
It's actually Folkes in the ruck, and he just stood up to Finlay then. Finlay just ran into him, managed to get the hands off, and even though it wasn't a nice kick, it came off and it was accurate. So, a good bit of play from the midfield, and it seems to be if you can get that clearance, you're well on the way to getting a score.
Probably doesn't matter who they put in the ruck. Finlay's a big boy. He's probably going to outnumber everyone. As the ball goes up and up they go, but there's an infringement. What does the umpire say? Looks like a push, and it'll be a free kick to the Basin, to Park Orchards at least, getting some good momentum going as they chip it down the flank. And now they go inside 50 once again. Can they find a target? Plenty of Basin play. That's a great mark. Terrific mark. I think it was Philp coming forward, Michael Philp. Plenty of Basin players back there, but Philp sort of came out of nowhere like a thief in the night
Well, that's where the Basin have got to be smart. That again was he put that deliberately to that one spot that we've talked about all day, and the forwards all clear out and lay a nice lane to run into.
There's Philp's kick. It looks pretty good. The crowd like it, and so does the goal umpire. It's an excellent goal by Michael Philp. Great mark and a terrific goal, and it's another 6 points onto the Park Orchard score. 7-5-47 they lead. The Basin 3-1-19 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, look, they've just got to get better, and they made a mistake then in the centre clearance. They've been blocking Minogue out in the middle. The umpire found it.
Yep.
That's where they gave the free kick, and that was just, it was clinical in the way they went about it. It was very well done.
Yeah, Fayer spread out on the wing, and he just kicked it as long as he could to that hot spot you're talking about. But this game's opened up. We've had 15 minutes in. We've had 7 goals in this term, and as quick as the Basin have got back into the game, the Park Orchard's team have kicked out again to a 28-point lead, but it's the Basin kicking it long into their forward line, drop mark, but Debity won't mind because the boundary was there to save him, and actually I think that was Campbell Crome.
Yeah, terrific work by Batty there. He got the tap and then roved his own tap. Fantastic, and got the ball forward.
So it's at the forward line for the Basin. They'll need the next one in this now. Is becoming a high-scoring effort. Finlay just bumps his opponent out of the way. Bit surprised he didn't get called for a free kick, so he just flopped it on the boot and he kicked it out of bounds, unfortunately, for the Bears. So it's still 7-5-47, the Sharks leading the Basin 3-1-19.
Yeah, looks like that's, bringing him down forward could be a good move for the Basin. That's too easy to let him get out like this.
So here they come again, Park Orchards bringing the ball out of defence. Mark almost taken, but it's going to fall for the Park Orchard side anyway, and the kick goes down the ground from Campbell Crome, bouncing around just short of the inside 50 now. They've got it on the overlap, an opportunity out wide now. It's Williamson who's already got, no, he hasn't got a goal today, but he's going to possibly look for one. But it's going to be spoiled, and that should be a ball up as the ball is taken by the Basin. I'll have a ball up right into the boundary line, just inside 50, just inside the forward 50.
Well, he had imagination, he just didn't have the follow-through, did Nicholson then?
Ball goes up.
Williamson.
It's been tapped down, but it's gone straight back out of bounds, and we'll have another clearance. Basin could really do another goal here. They've picked up 3, which has got them largely back into this game, but just conceding a couple of quick ones to Park Orchard, so they need to get one here just to get themselves back within touch. Umpire throws it in. Fairly shy throw too. It is 2, and the tap comes easily from Park Orchard. Heading towards the boundary line. It's picked up there by Wiggins. And Wiggins gets the kick in towards the pocket. And Mark not taking the ball spoiled, and it's out of bounds deep in that right forward pocket.
With their strength in their ruck, they should be doing more with this. They're just not using enough of their ruck dominance, the Basin, at the moment.
As soon as you say that, Batty, he rose his own tap and he kicks it long into the middle. Luckily enough for him, it's marked by Brown. So Brown got to the back of the square. He's got one option, but it'll be outnumbered quickly. But Finlay holds up strong and tall, takes the mark, wants to get on his right real quick. 60 metres out, he gets it around the corner. Kruger's not going to thank him for putting him under that much pressure, but he stands up, Lockie Kruger. So Kruger marks it at half forward, puts it into a hotspot area 40 metres out where the numbers, including another Kruger with the blonde hair, but it was this time also Rule in there. He gets taken down in a tackle. And will Bayliss work it out for Park Orchards? But he's been wrapped up in what a tackle. That was a ball and all tackle, and that's a goal-winning tackle by the Basin. Just as Bayliss looked like he was calm as a cucumber walking out of defence, he gets taken by the arm and the ball just gets held in, and the tackle was awarded. And it's going to be Brown, who took the mark at centre-half back only a moment ago, followed through, and after a couple of kicks down, he finally got to the position where he's going to have a shot at goal from 40 metres out. Not much of an angle. Much needed goal if the base, it's touched off the boot, is it? And it's been touched on the line in any ways, but it was going to go straight through if only he cleared the man on the mark, but he didn't. So the Basin trail now by 27, 3-2-20 to the Sharks. Park Orchards, that is 7-5-47.
That was really smart play then. Instead of the coach standing on the mark, he went and pushed Folks across to stand on the mark. Being the taller player, he was able to touch the ball.
So Geelings has it at half-back, deep in the pocket. He decides to kick down the line, but it's smothered nicely, and the ball is out of bounds. Good work there by the Basin as they try and keep it locked inside that forward 50, looking for a goal. get themselves back into this game.
You can't afford to be too cute like that in the back half. If you're going to try and kick those short passes, you've got to kick them on at 45, not straight down the line like that.
Umpire throws it in. It was good work by Folks. He got the front spot and got the tap as well as the ball comes out, but it's close to the boundary line, still in, and eventually taken over by Chris De Jager. And we'll have another throw up in the forward pocket, the left forward pocket this time. Still a 27-point margin on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Folks takes it out, turns around, bangs it down the line. Can he find a target? There's two Park Orchards players there. The ball is tapped, but it's nicely braved by the Basin. The ball comes loose. It's picked up by Thompson. Thompson, he's taken three players on, a little bit ambitious there, but the handball comes inside. They've still got it, the Basin, but it's all a bit sloppy. And the umpire's paid some sort of free kick. There might have been an incorrect disposal by the looks. Kick comes across and Park Orchards will take it again, says the umpire. So Campbell Crime had a good game so far today. Kicks towards half forward. Good strong mark taken there by Philp. He's been good as well. Philp wheels around, decides to go inside 50. Who's the target? No real Park Orchards. No, there was a couple of Basin players here to do well. They cut it off too. Man. And in fact, it's a holding free kick.
And that's, well, the Basin did everything right. They put the player in the hole. The player managed to cause a turnover. And then the defender just held on to that player for way too long. And the Basin were clearing the ball at the time. So they did everything right except for the tackle.
So, costly mistake by the Basin. And this should be a goal. Matthew Nicholson, you wouldn't expect him to, Matthew Williamson, should I say, you wouldn't expect him to miss this. He's a left footer. And he puts it through. Pretty straightforward goal for Matthew Williamson, and that's the 6th of the day. Sorry, the 8th of the day for the Sharks. They go 8-5-53 to the Basin, 3-2-20 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, and that's they're the ones that hurt when there's a little bit of. We probably had 5 or 6 minutes there where there was a bit of a lull in what was happening, and then they've come through and kicked the goal that really. They didn't have a right to kick because the Basin were actually in control of the football. So that's disappointing for the Basin. I noticed to put someone in the hole now. Number 5's gone. So Watson's gone down into the hole, which is what they've needed.
So Batty with coming over the top, Philp doing the rucking for Park Orchards, and at ground level Carlos got wrapped up in a tackle, hands the ball back to the umpire, moved a couple metres forward towards the Basin's goal. Coming in with the tackle was Brown, who had that touched effort only moments ago. Another ball up as the umpire does 3 in a row from the centre circle. Tap goes forward for the Basin, and Adams kicks it high up and under, inside 50. Kruger gets to it as it bounces forward, hands it over. Can the Basin work it? They're trying to, but Rowland's doing some nice work. Kruger comes in for a tackle, being Max, and the Basin hold up, and it's got a free kick for holding the ball. Such a good tackle it was. Was the prior opportunity for Gillings? No matter, Max Kruger has got it for the Basin. He's only got long options and a congested forward line in front of him. Finds a small target, and the leading option of Brown gets in position and takes the mark. And he just got into that position where there's no defenders. They were a lot deeper, and he's marked it within range, 40 metres out. So Brown's getting into the game, seeing more of him in the last 10 minutes.
That was a great play actually then from Kruger. He had the ball near the boundary line. He kept walking around. The umpire didn't call it, and then he opened it up so he could give the pass.
Brown, he won't get this one touched, and it's just as straight it was the time before, but this time he gets the credit for a goal, and the Basin much needed goal at the 23-minute mark moves them to the 4-2-26. They are still 27 points behind the Sharks, but they've been much more competitive. It's Park Orchards 8-5-53 leading the Basin 4-2-26.
Well, young Brown has gone. He went to Bayliss early on to try and stop him with his run. Now he's moved into the centre half forward position to be a target, and he's been very, very good in the last 5 minutes.
So back in the middle, the Basin getting something to cheer about as the tap comes down. It's a good one too by Andrew Batty, but it comes out and it's gone forward, but it's been smothered.
Bad advantage.
Park Orchards get the ball for a moment, but it's gone back to the Basin. It's bobbling around like a hot potato at the moment. It's Carlos with the ball. Carlos kicks it forward inside 50, but that looks like it'll be cut off pretty comfortably, and it is back there by Scotty Rowland, the solid man back in the defence, but his kick is not so good. In fact, it's gone out of bounds in the forward pocket, the left forward pocket. Deep. Not such a good kick by Scotty Boland, but a terrific mark nonetheless.
And that's where it's disappointing, because that's a difficult mark to take. He's taken and he's gone and turned the football over, so no advantage for taking that mark. And you know, got to have a bit more patience when you get a situation like that.
So, and it comes, the tap comes down. I think it was Campbell, Josh Campbell, who got the tap. And it's Bayliss with the ball now. The skipper, of course, who's going to look for a target up forward. Can Park Orchards transfer this ball? He decides to go long. Bayliss not a lot of options short, so he kicks it to the middle of the ground. Bobbling around it, very nearly fell for Michael Philp, but it's on the ground at the moment. Now they've got an opportunity to get it forward. It's Wilson, Adam Wilson, goes inside 50, and that's a lovely kick. And it's Handley who takes the mark, Nick Handley, who was so good last week, and that was just too easy. Good transition as the ball came out there, just watching the replay, and it, good work by Adam Wilson. He had just a man unmarked, all on his own, Nick Handley, and that was just too easy. The Basin players caught napping there rather badly at the back, and Handley will go back, and you would expect him to kick this. He's pretty reliable kick of about probably, what are we looking at, 35 metres, maybe 40 metres?
I reckon he'll pull it to the left. If I'm a betting man, that's what he's done the previous couple of times.
He's walked back to about 75 metres, so...
He'll be in the car park in a minute. So Handley, it is at the opposite end, so maybe he'll have more luck. He seemed to hit it pretty well.
Nice.
That's a lovely kick by Handley. He obviously prefers this here much better. That's a terrific kick, and he steers it through for the 9th goal today for the Sharks. It's 9-5-59 against the Basin's 4-2-26 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's go boundary with Ray Beard.
I think the other thing is that Bayliss, when he gets the ball, we know he's going to kick at 55, and what's happening is that Philp becomes the target. He runs into space, and they're able to get some clearances through it. So get the ball into Bayliss's hands is very, very important at the moment.
And it wasn't like Wilson only had one option in Handley leading up to him. He had men spreading all over. The kick out of the centre from the Basin was chopped off with a nice mark. Haythorn backing back at half back. He picks himself up. He's got a short up over, and he finds Fayer, who hands it to the runner. Now here goes again Wilson. Puts it long, puts it towards the leading option of Philp. And he couldn't take the mark, coming to ground level. Wrapped up in a tackle with Scott Rowland, who gets around the ground. And he'll pick himself up, give the ball to the umpire. 55 metres out from goal for Park Orchards. They've steadied after conceding a few goals in a row. And they've kicked away in this game to lead by 33 points as we approach half-time. 59 plays 26. But it has been a 10-goal quarter, so we'll go beyond 30, I reckon. 27.5 minutes gone. Another tackle well laid by the Basin, but it's first hands on the ball with the Sharks, this time being Fayer. And he hands it to the umpire, 60 metres away from goal. Folks comes over the top with a tap, goes defensive for the tap, actually gets Basin running onto it, but they couldn't pick it up. So allows Park Orchards come in the tackle, spooned out through Rule. And it's now close to the line, and the numbers are there for Park Orchards to harass Carlos, and the ball goes over the line. And the flag nearly being flown there by the Basin, but even in the fight they're not that energetic, as Park Orchards have numbers again at ground level. Nicely bumps himself out of a tackle, did Wiggins, but he falls over just on impact. And that would have been a great move if he could have just eluded the pressure.
I tell you what, if Adams had hit him there, they'd be picking him up 3 weeks away. He was...
Yeah. You think he'll be in Warrandyte, do you think?
He was going hard.
So the throw in at centre wing, it's all a bit scrappy on the ground, and they're looking for it with Churcott, but the umpire says we'll have another ball up. Handley's been very good on the ruck. He's been the bigger bodies today, but he's done a... Sorry, not Handley, Folks has been particularly good battling away on the ruck. Now here's the ball up, going in and getting it. There is the man that we just spoke of, Folks. He gets it forward, but there's not a lot happening forward. Picked up nicely. And the wheel around and the kick off the left foot. I think that was Nicholson. He got the kick, but I think he got thumped.
He did, but it's still not a free.
No, it was in the act of kicking.
Looked like he kicked it. It was almost in the As you say, Gavin, the active kicking, nothing wrong with that. The player was committed, but it is going to be a free kick downfield.
I suppose it stops that borderline one that could happen if the players don't need much encouragement to go hard.
No, and look, and Adams is, well, the last one he attempted, he missed, so he got that one.
Yes.
So it's Michael Philp to line up. He'll kick this from about 50 metres or just inside by the time he gets here. Strikes it fairly nicely, and that's a beautiful kick straight over the top of the umpire's hat. Michael Philp gets his second goal, and the Sharks kick away once again. That's their 10th of the day. It's 10-5-65 versus the Basin 4-2-26 as we go boundary side with Ray Beard.
I don't know whether you picked that up or not, boys, but it wasn't actually Philp's free kick downfield. It was Nicholas Hanley's free kick, but he didn't want to kick it for some reason. He just ran off, and all the Basin guys were pointing that it should have been his free kick, but no, the umpire wouldn't have a bar of it.
Yeah, thanks for that. I was a little bit confused myself because it was, as you say, Hanley, but Philp took the free kick and maybe pulled one over the umpire's eyes there, I think, or pulled the ball over the umpire's eyes. Back in the middle as the ball goes up, and it's that man Folks again. He's having a big day. Hasn't kicked any goals, but he spent so much of the day in the ruck, wheeling around with it as Witness. Jai Witness kicks down the ground, but it'll beat everyone and go out of bounds. So the big man Andrew Batty getting ready to go into the contest once again. Folks gets the front spot, though the tap down. Can they get an advantage from it? Close to the boundary line, and it's taken across by Lachlan Cripps.
The Basin midfield have really got to step up and start getting their hands on the football and getting out to some of their runners. They're just not involved enough at the moment. There you go.
So the ball goes into the middle of the ground. Basin try to get some hands going to get some run, but they just spill it. They just can't get it to the next connector, and it goes to ground where Park Orchard's good at ground level. Talking of good at ground level, Ray Baird.
Out of the contest.
So the Rucks went at it, no clear win of the tap.
So maybe Brain against Braun was what Ray was saying there. As the ball goes up, it's come out and it's hacked forward by Park. It's gone straight up in the air like an up and under almost as it's knocked forward. Now the opportunity is there for Park Orchards. They decide to knock it forward, and the mark very nearly taken. Chasing it down there is Williamson. Matthew Williamson, he gets to the ball, but he will be lucky to get it out of there. Struggling in there, the ball comes out, but it's the Basin trying desperately to clear it, and no one's going to be able to get that out of there. The umpire says we'll throw it up.
That was a magnificent clearance, and if that had been taken, that would have been a perfect way of just scoring. They were tremendous in Park Orchards.
Ball comes out to Matthew Nicholson, but he's taken to ground, and once again we'll have a ball. It might be time for some Chief Stat match stats with Grant Campbell.
Inside 50s 13-11 in favour of Park Orchards, and they've taken 5 marks inside 50 to 3 this quarter.
So the tap comes down. It's with the Basin who have the ball. Struggling to get it out of there is Luke Watson. And the umpire says it's, is it out of bounds? Free kick, I think. Ball up, in fact. So it throws it up. Who's going to get the advantage here? It's a tap by Michael Philp. He's played pretty well today. Once again, it falls for the Basin. And we've got a bit of a stalemate situation. Josh Adams, he's been very good for the Basin as well.